Welcome to the High Risk Payments Playbook, the podcast for partners and merchants operating in complex industries. If you're navigating chargebacks, underwriting challenges, compliance hurdles, reserve or volume limit challenges, and approval roadblocks, you're in the right place. Each week, we break down the realities of high-risk credit card processing, what works, what doesn't, and how to build sustainable payment strategies focused on revenue growth for industries where others struggle. This is where strategy meets execution. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. It's Lissa Frixell, your host of High Risk Payments Playbook. I'm here today with Ben Albert. Ben, thank you for joining us. Ben is the owner of B. Albert Marketing, LLC, and founder of Growth Getters Only, host of the internationally recognized podcast Real Business Connections, which, Ben, I want to talk about a little bit more. That's interesting. Ben's mentors, peers, and guests collectively generate billions of views, billions in revenue, and hundreds of millions of followers worldwide. When you learn from Ben, you're learning from all who have taught him. I love that. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me. Let's have some fun today.
Yeah, let's do it. So, you are a marketing guy, right? As I read and learn. And we deliver this podcast to our merchants and our partners who tend to be small businesses. And my perception of small business owners is that marketing is a very challenging aspect of business for them. So my first question to you is, if you're just starting out and you're a small business and you know your industry inside and out, like you have your grandparents' recipes, and so you've opened a little restaurant, or you've worked on bicycles for the last 40 years and now you've opened a bike shop. How do you even begin to think about marketing?
Yeah. When it comes to thinking about marketing, you definitely don't want to have a negative connotation. You definitely want to be positive about it, because what marketing is going to do, it's going to allow you to help more people. It's going to allow you to build more relationships, and at the core, it's going to help you make way more money. So it needs to be your friend. It's not something that you should do and have to do. It's in everything you do. And now marketing is a big topic. That's why I stumble. I'm like, where do we take this? Because marketing is the way you treat your customers. Marketing is the way you dress at the workplace. Marketing isn't just the way your website looks, even though it is, but it's how you deliver products. It's the customer experience. It could be lead generation. It can be sales, but it can also be customer experience. So there's a lot of things, and we can't tackle them all in a short conversation. But one of the most important things is it's the way people talk about you when you're not in the room. It's the way people want to refer you. It's what they say about you behind your back, the reviews they leave. It's many of these things. So it's your relationship with your customers, your relationship with your referral partners, your relationship as a leader in your industry. At the core is what marketing is. And there's many ways to do it. Like, we could take one industry and probably do a 10 hours on just one business. But we can, wherever you want to take it. But to me, in an AI world, in a technology world, in a world where you have a lot of competitors that deliver similar services to you, you want to differentiate. You want to build relationships, and that's the core of marketing. It's helping people.
Cool. Yeah, I've never really thought about marketing from all of those perspectives, I don't think. So if you were talking to a small business and they were asking you for help, what would be some key pieces of advice? Like, how do you encourage a small business to think about their marketing, where to put their attention and their resources?
Yeah. So can we go way to like phase 0? And the
Sure.
reason I think it's important to go to phase 0 is most people are years upon years, if not decades, in business, and they can't even answer some of these simple questions. So I like to simplify plus, minus, and equals. So if
Okay.
someone has a pen and a piece of paper in front of them, I invite them to write a plus, then write a minus, write an equals. You can kind of create 3 columns if you'd like. Your pluses are mentors, they're industry leaders, they're people that maybe the everyday person might know in your industry. So every industry is different, but who are the heavy hitters in the industry? Who are the trendsetters? Who are you learning from? Your minus is your audience, it's your mentees, it's the people that are buying from you, it's the people that are learning from you, it's the people whose families' lives you're changing. Most people focus just on their audience, their leads, their clients. That's just one of three categories. So your plus is mentors, industry leaders. Your minus is your audience, the people that you're helping, the people that are mentees to you. And equals is peer to peer support. That can be other people in your industry. Maybe they have different territories. So you're not competing, rather, you're sharing best practices. Your equals can also be other business owners that maybe you share similar clients, maybe you help similar people. So they can become ambassadors, they can become referral partners. They're the people that you maybe come together in a mastermind and learn with each other. So there's three categories. Who are the mentors? Who are the industry leaders? We want to actually have a list of names if possible, but if not, what kind of people are they? What kind of businesses do they run? Who exactly are the people that I help, my minuses? Who are my mentees? Who are my audience? Who are my clients? Exactly what are they names if you know them? Who are current clients? What do their lives look like? Where do they live? Why did they hire you? Know exactly who those people are. And then who are my peers? Who am I going to go to if I have a question about business? Who am I going to go to if I want a referral for my business? Who's going to be an ambassador for me? What industries? If I'm a roofer and I don't do gutters, I want to know gutter people. If I'm in solar, but I don't know roofs, I want to know roofing people. Maybe I do home improvement, but I don't do curb appeal. I'm going to want to know landscapers. Maybe I have a SaaS product, but I'm not a great marketer. Maybe I want to know marketers. I want to have people in my vicinity that can be my peers. And once you have clarity of those three categories, then it's easy to start a marketing strategy that I call becoming the center of gravity, where you attract those people into your orbit. We could go so many directions with this, but in short, once you know who's in each of those categories, how can you attract those people? How can my messaging speak to them? How can my content be interesting to them? How can I invite them to be a part of this journey of business with me? We can go as microscopic as you'd like, but that's the framework that people 20 years in business sometimes can't fill out those categories. So if you do
Mhm.
that as early as now, the clarity in your marketing will come so much easier from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess ground zero really is sort of where the thinking should be, right? And working with merchants all day, every day for as long as I have, I know certainly that you're right about that. They know their industry, they know their craft, but running a business is a different story, right? Like they might have come up in a giant Italian family with amazing food and great recipes from grandma or great grandma, but
Mhm.
running a business and opening a restaurant is a whole different animal. So, yeah, I totally believe that. Outside of building that foundation, what would you say, or what do you see most as being sort of the early stage thinking that people overlook? Like, are there important details? They focus on details? Should their thinking be far more broad? Like, where do they often fall short?
Yeah. Do we want to pick an industry or like a mock business just to
Uh,
add a little clarity?
Sure. How about a specialty retailer? I see a lot of that. So,
Especially, okay.
like a jeweler or somebody who focuses in a very narrow vertical and is a retailer.
So are they, especially retailers, is that a place where I can show up and purchase the jewel right from them? Or are they're not manufacturing. They're
Mhm.
the specialty retailers right on the corner. I'm getting a wedding ring. I'm going to purchase from these people.
Yeah, maybe let's do that one first and then we'll talk about an e-com business because I
Mm.
imagine your response is going to be very different.
Yeah, so I mean, what a beautiful addition to the community because they're the go to during marriages. They're the go to during special events. There's a lot of trust. And I'm sure your listeners aren't, but if they are a specialty jeweler, They know that there's scammy, crappy companies out there, and they're not one of those scammy, crappy companies. So their goal should be to get, and e-commerce is making it international, but if they're just local, their goal is to be known locally. And again, going back to being the center of gravity, how can I get the eyeballs of local leaders? Maybe I get them to wear my jewelry. Maybe how do I get the eyeballs of my local buyers? How do I get the eyeballs of people that'll talk to me? My goal always in an AI world is find ways to build community, find ways to buy local trust where everyone's talking about you, ways to be the center of gravity, the center of attention. Maybe I put on charity events. I have local leaders, my pluses come in as speakers. I invite the public, which is all potential clients, and then I have similar business owners. Maybe it's a in a other wedding planning events or people that host event spaces or party spaces. I have these other local leaders in adjacent industries come, and maybe they don't have to purchase a ticket. Maybe they get VIP, they get free tickets. They're my guests. And I put on an event all around a business or a charity event. And I invite these speakers, I invite these other leaders, I invite the greater community to be a part of it. So now I haven't even talked about jewelry at all. But if you want a seat at the table, sometimes you bring your own table. And these can be very economical. You guys are doing this with your podcast. You start a podcast and you invite other, again, we can go to the plus minus equals. You invite leaders, you invite other peers, you invite people that maybe will buy services from you on the podcast. Another fun example, and I'm going off the beaten path and I'll come back, but I have a good friend who's a financial advisor, and he would always go to his son's little league baseball games and take pictures. And you would post those pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and everyone loved it. And then, word got around and people started seeing these pictures and they're like, "Hey, Mike, can you, I know I don't, this might sound weird, but can you take some pictures of my son at the next game?" And then before you know it, he loves photography. He's an advisor, but he loves photography. So he's taking pictures of all the kids at the games and he's sharing it with the families and they're tagging him and this and that. And he's an advisor, right? He's dealing with the finances of homes. It's a high trust position. But since he's doing it through taking these pictures, everyone's like, "Wow, I love your photography. You're such a good person. What do you do?" And then the finance comes up. So, how can we apply that to our industry? The jeweler, I don't know what the rules and regulations are, but I'd be giving discounts for anyone who takes a picture, shares it on social media, and collaborates with me.
That's great.
Even if they don't buy something, maybe I hand them a coupon or a discount on the spot, even prior to purchasing, if they share, a review or an experience that they had. Maybe they try something on. They take a picture of it. They haven't purchased it. They can't even afford it yet. That's okay. But they take a picture of it. They can share it on social media and they can say something like, "Add it to my vision board. I'm going to dress like this daily in the future." Find ways. This is so economical because none of it costs you any money other than maybe providing a discount. But find ways to bring your community into it and not just market a sale, market an experience, a vision, build a better place. Because if everyone has nice jewelry, then everyone looks better. The ladies are happy when they get the wedding ring. And that's what you need to be focusing on. We could talk ads and different things as well. I'm not an ad expert in this industry. Honestly, ads kick butt.
Mhm,
But I'm talking about the experience the way you make people feel and the experience you give to your clients so
mhm.
they come back to you every single time and they share what you do with other people willingly.
Yeah, I love that because I'm a relationship girl
Yeah.
and, I've always been deep in partnerships. Partners are not only my bread and butter, but like my favorite part of my day. And I love the relationship building. That's my single favorite thing.
Mm.
So here's a little bit of a tricky question. What if you were that same jewelry retailer, but you were an e-com business? So the relationship building is challenging, right? When you're when your customers are unknown to you, and maybe you can still host events and get some traction from relationships, but your customer is a little further away. What's your thinking there? Do you just do the same strategy, and it just maybe takes a little longer to get traction, or do you have to think about it really differently?
Yeah. So it is the exact same strategy, but in a virtual world in many ways. Just because you're online doesn't mean you actually can't do some of this local stuff as well. Because
Mhm.
people are always have a bias to local. They want to support local. So maybe still do things local as well, but consider I can sell to anyone. And I want to be humble and say I've never done this exact project with a business before, but what we just described would work. And it depends on your budget because what I would be focused on is user generated content and influencers. Who is the people online, maybe in the beauty industry, that have maybe thousands, tens of thousands of Instagram followers, but not tens of millions? If
Mhm.
I have a huge budget, if I have a ton of money just at disposal, I'm literally just gonna hire Kim Kardashian to wear my stuff in a freaking story, and her just posting a link in her story will sell me millions of products. That's the
Mhm.
reality of this world. But if I
Mhm.
can't afford Kim Kardashian, are there any micro influencers that might even be surprised that I asked them?
Mhm.
People that have 10,000 followers, they have a hobbyist fashion blog, but they get, 100 comments or, several tens of thousands of views in every single post. You might have to do a little research here, but you should know your industry. You should know who's buying from you. Or if you don't know who's buying, like who these influencers are, who has bought from you in the past? Can you reach out to them? And sometimes people will do it for free. Maybe they'll do it for minor bribes that you send them some jewelry and they get free stuff. Or sometimes they'll want to get paid if they have a big enough following. It's worth it, but you find people that would love to promote and wear your stuff anyways, and you get them to generate content for you. Anything from coming into your storefront to making a purchase online to wearing the product. When you're in something like jewelry, it's so visual that you
Mhm.
want to get them to take the visuals. And it's not AI. It's not perfect. Not everyone has the perfect body and the perfect lighting. And that's why it sells. It's
Mhm.
real people taking real photos of your stuff, wearing them, wedding ring. If I can get everybody that's ever bought from me in this industry to just collab with me, then I don't even have to create content. They'll all do it for me. So,
Right.
how could we do this is something that I'd be considering. How can I put on events, like I said, with charity events with other leaders in this industry that are adjacent to me? How can I create a movement so I'm not just the person that sells stuff? I've used the word stuff a lot, but not just the person that sells stuff. I am the go to company for this. And when people purchase necklaces here, they have unexplainable joy. That's what you want to create.
That's awesome. P.S. Anybody listening can send me jewelry. I will proudly wear it in front of a camera that anybody has, just as a side note.
Love it. Love it.
So you are a very relationship focused guy, I'm learning, and which we have in common. You mentioned that you have a community. Tell me a little about that, please.
Yeah, so it's at weallgrowtogether.com and I put it in the URL. We all grow together. We're talking a lot about relationships and community. We didn't even touch on like websites and SEO and GEO and content marketing and YouTube. Like you could do a whole podcast on marketing and never run out of content.
Sure.
But the reason we're talking about relationships is because, in my opinion, in a tech, like an AI tech, everyone has access to tools world. The relationships and the community building is something that can never be replaced.
Hmm.
If you can build a community around your brand, you're unstoppable. And that's really why I love, we call it grow getters only. It's growth oriented go getters, grow getters. The URL is weallgrowtogether.com. And the hidden message in that is it's not about me. Like I've started this community grow getters only, but it's about every, man and woman in the room growing together, collective impact. entrepreneurs, marketers, salespeople having these conversations at a weekly basis. So I appreciate you asking. But again, like I'm a podcast marketer, I can build websites, I can do lots of stuff. But the community is truly my labor of love because that's where I get my equals, a lot of my peer to peer support.
Sure. Got it. Who is a good fit for your group? Is it really anybody interested in growth? Is it more a small business owner? Is it more an enterprise executive? Who's a good fit?
Definitely no a-holes, no
Okay.
jerks. Pretty much anyone is a good fit. I will say it leans more towards entrepreneurship, small to medium sized entrepreneurs, and then solopreneurs and then intrapreneurs. There's a handful of marketers at a company. There's a handful of sales professionals at a more enterprise company. But that's the one thing that as a marketer, you could say I did wrong. It's not super hyper niche that it's for executives in e-commerce with a revenue of 50 million and above. It's not that kind of group. It's a community where everyone's welcome as long as they're looking for that growth, that collective impact. And we don't focus on just one topic. Like we have workshops on marketing, we have workshops on sales, we have workshops on hosting your own event. We have networking only sessions where we network, we meet people, we share referrals. So it's all over the place. I don't want to sound like an infomercial. Really, you just go to weallgrowtogether.com and it's simply an invitation. Doors are open. If you're not a good fit, we'll tell you. And if you are a good fit, we're never going to let you go. And
Nice.
that's kind of how I like to do business.
Nice. I love that. Okay, so how about some closing thoughts? What's been on your mind lately about your business and, some top of mind just little snippets to share
Mm,
with people.
I got so many of those.
You want to share a couple?
My favorite go to that I've said before, but I could say it a million times, there is no key to success. If anyone's selling you the key to success, they're probably just trying to make money off you. There is no one key to success. It's
Mhm.
a combination lock, similar to the padlock at the gym or the pin on your phone. It's the reason they take your fingerprint when you get in trouble. We all have a unique fingerprint. Our business has its own unique fingerprint. DNA code. It's going to depend on who you are, who you help, where your business is located, what your team looks like, interests, mentorship, all sorts of stuff. It's a combination lock. That's why podcasts like this are important. So I do want to invite the listener, subscribe to this show if this is valuable, because podcasts like this are important. Community is important. Trial and error is important. Understanding your skills, we could go, the amount of combinations in your code is pretty endless. But once you get clarity on your place, your fingerprint, your DNA code, your combination, that's when you can start unlocking anything. Because my other little quick hit, I'll say, I'd rather be different than better. I don't want to compete on trying to be the best because most of the time, honestly, I'm not. And a lot of the time, I'm a marketer. I do podcast marketing. I have a community. There's a lot of people like me out there. I don't want to try to just be the best. I'd rather be different and the best. I'd rather be different than better. But if I can do different and be better, then I'm completely unstoppable. So the question is, what is your fingerprint? What is your combination? How can you do things differently? Is there something we talked about today that you're not doing that other people in your industry aren't doing that would allow you to differentiate? And if not, if you don't like this episode, what's a better episode for you? Go
Mhm.
find a better topic. So you can take it all or leave it all, but that is my opinion. Find ways to differentiate yourself, and that's the best way to stand out.
Okay, cool. I love that. I love that you would rather be different than better. I am someone who appreciates uniqueness in not only other human beings, but in business models and I don't mean like, setting up some Harvard grade white paper. I mean just some interesting perspectives and interesting ways to come at an industry that others don't typically do. Or maybe, a longtime person who's been in an industry forever, like me, for instance, who does something differently just to see how it goes, right?
Mm.
That's kind of my personal jam. So, high five to you, my friend.
Awesome. I love that about
Exactly.
you.
Okay, so if being a podcast marketer is your wheelhouse, what's your secret sauce?
That's a lot. That's a good question because it makes me have to be concise. Interesting. I want to find a pithy way to put it.
A pithy way.
Yeah. I mean, it really is being so as on my podcast, Real Business Connections, or working with someone else's podcast. Which one? Is it you talking about me as a podcaster or me as a working on someone else's podcast?
I think you as maybe a human being, you as somebody who goes out into the world with your own
Yeah.
thoughts, experiences, and perspectives. What do you bring to the table in a relationship of any kind, in a partnership, in a in a vendor relationship that nobody else has?
Yeah. I mean, the answer's like in the question in a weird way because we all bring ourselves and wherever you go, there you are.
Yeah.
Now, I am genuinely authentic. When I don't know an answer, I don't know the answer. When I feel like having fun, I have fun. When I'm grumpy, I allow myself to be grumpy. Wherever
Mhm.
you go, there you are. So I don't pretend to be anyone I'm not.
Yeah.
And one thing that we could do 10 podcasts on probably is I'm a creative at heart. And there are business models and playbooks and frameworks that work. But if I don't have joy, if I'm frustrated, if I find it's an unethical practice, I just won't do it. When
Yeah.
I'm a host, I won't bring on a guest just because they're popular. I'm bringing on people that I'm genuinely interested in because
Mhm.
then I can be as present as possible in that conversation. When I'm working in clients, money does talk. I'd probably, if you paid me enough money, who the heck knows what I would do. But I'm very much a partner and I'm a part of their business. I am running this like whole podcast marketing ecosystem where it's more than a podcast. Like it's their web blog and it's social media and YouTube. It's so many things. So if I don't like their messaging, if I don't think they're a good person, they can't. I mean, I guess they could probably pay me enough. I just said that, but their money doesn't spend well with me because
Yeah.
it's a partnership. Because maybe this is an emotional way of doing business. Maybe it's a creative way of doing business. But I put a lot of heart and joy and lots of different microscopic, hard to explain, nuanced things from all my experiences, from all the podcasts I've listened to, from all my guests. I bring that to everything I do. And I think it would be arrogant to like put a microscope on me and say Ben's the best in the world. Look at how amazing I am. Like I don't do that. But humbly, since I am answering your question, I bring my whole self to every episode and I bring my whole self to every business relationship. And if you don't like my whole self, it's not going to be a good fit. But
Mhm.
if you do, I'm creative, I'm a differentiator. I know I've been in the industry since 2016, so I know exactly what to do and what not to do. I've kind of seen it all. But maybe I'm not a good fit for people, and that's okay too.
For sure.
So, yeah, the short answer is wherever you go, there you are, and to own the heck out of that.
Okay. Just listening to you for the last however many minutes we've been chatting, I'm going to take a stab at I think your secret sauce is authenticity. I
Okay,
think if I had to shrink it all that you've said and shared with me today, if I had to shrink it to one word or one thought, I would say I think it's authenticity.
I'll take it.
Okay, good. Excellent. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing some valuable information for merchants, which is obviously our biggest goal here
Yeah.
is giving them, a new way to think about things or a leg up or some advice or what have you. And I think we covered those bases today. So thank you so much, my friend. I will be participating in your community. I look forward to that.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I am a relationship person to the core of my being. So anything that focuses on that, I'm all about it. So that was helpful to me to learn about your group. The
Thank
name
you.
of it one more time.
It's called Grow Getters Only, but the URL is at weallgrowtogether.
Okay, got it. Weallgrowtogether.com.
Yeah.
Got it. You'll see me there.
No way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ben, thank you so much. As always, lovely to have you, lovely to meet one another, really, because we've only chatted a tiny bit before today. So I look forward to anything we could do together in the future. If there's any way I can help you, please let me know. And, maybe we'll circle back around and have part 2 of this and learn about how we come authentically into our
Mm,
business lives.
I'm all about it. I appreciate you having me. Just let me know. Give me a call. I'll be here.
Promise. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the High Risk Payments Playbook. If this episode brought you value, share it with a partner or a merchant who operates in a high-risk industry. For more insights and resources, please visit us at zenti.com. That's ZENTI.com. Until next time, operate with efficiency, process smarter, and stay ahead of risk.